Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Wednesday, September 7th at 16:31 in the afternoon Eastern Time. And now we have some more noise starting up, which wasn't here moments ago. Just in terms of a works report, in terms of the stuff going on up to the what's going to be the new corner with Powell Road. They've been putting in temporary traffic lights, stop lights, stop and go lights. They set the poles yesterday, one of which is really quite skewed, with a stay that runs way over to another electric pole, an actual electric pole. They did one of these boring under the ground things, and they drew through that bore looks like a big black plastic tube, larger than 2.5 inches in diameter, with a red stripe on it. They pulled that through. I think that's actually for some sort of electrical stuff for these lights or future lights. Who knows? In the meantime, I may have mentioned that we went over Liz and Henry's. Let's see. This is Wednesday. We went over there on Monday and had dinner, and of course, splendid as always. And Henry, now don't take this the wrong way. You did not overcook the pork. It was not overly dry. It was overcooked by my standards, but it was not dry. That's new. Very good though, and baked potatoes, corn cut off the cob. It was very nice. And of course, always good conversation. And as I said to Liz on the way out, she has to be the most patient individual in Christendom, given the way her attention is taken up with Paul, talking very loudly over top of everybody else who's trying to have a conversation. The man doesn't know manners. In line with that, he got into like 10 beers into the day, which actually, took a little longer for him to get into it. But he had a nap time around a little bit before noon, and just now here about 4:15, he had another nap time. The phone's ringing right now. Fuck, who knows what's going to happen. I hate that. A lot of this stuff's just political polling stuff this time of year. But today, I spent a fair amount of time, and yesterday I spent a fair amount of time trying to learn how to manage this new iPhone. Note the new case here, which you can fold around here, and let's see, how do we do that? Do we do this? No. You put this in here, and then it goes like this, and then you can have this, and it works just fine. It's complete access to it. And so I've been entering in the phone numbers to the airlines and learning how to enter international numbers and so forth. And that's taken a fair amount of time because so many of these things are slightly contradictory. And then I went actually to to the. I actually got my ticketing uh, agent, Fairboon, to give me the 6-digit, 6 alphanumeric things that American Airlines and British Airways wanted to identify, the tickets and make confirm reservations. And that was yesterday. And this morning, then I went in and American Airlines had this whole nice itinerary for me uh, with 3 different flight numbers. The times are all the same, but 3 different flight numbers. So clearly, I'll have to check in with American Airlines, I think. If not, I've got the British Airways number too, both in US and UK, and I've got the American Airlines number in the US and UK. And I loaded this onto this little bad boy here. After I learned out how to do it, I had to go search on how to figure out how to do that. So we're on the learning curve here, but it better be a very steep one because I'm getting ready. We're getting ready to get out of here. All right. I finished Dear Maid McCullough's All Things Made New last night. I made a good fist at finally finishing Jack Miles' God, a Biography. Only like 2 or 3 more pages left. I had that, you sleep for 4.5 hours and you have like this interval, and then you get like starting around 4 o'clock, you might get 3.5 hours other sleep, or starting at 3:30, you might get 3.5 hours. It's god awful, but that's how it is. So I must accept that as what God's given me. And now, unless irenic statements, I decided I was going to watch old Joe Kersey TV here, watching myself and Thomas at his last visit up here. And that was like an hour and 20 minutes. So I thought, I'll just put it on the big screen in the big, in the other room. And I'm watching, and Paul came out and all this. And then I thought, I might want to watch. So I rewatched some Casey Neistat stuff after that, because he likes that guy. And I do too. Although I'm not like, I don't have a big heart on about whether I see his stuff one way or the other. He's so straight. But he's talented. He's interesting. But, and I was thinking, maybe we could go and watch the rest of the second season of Fargo, where we've actually been able to watch it carefully. We've been moving through that carefully. Or, just because, all the important stuff I had to get done today, I'd gotten done. Now, tomorrow I've got other things I got to do, but after about 3.5 hours horsing with this crap. Oh, by the way, I also was able to activate my phone for international calling. I actually got the AT&T stuff to load onto the phone. And so I was able to actually do that, finally. So I didn't have to go down there to do that, presumably. Although, judging by the emails they sent me, maybe I succeeded. It's always interesting. Oh, I also downloaded the Google Earth app for iPhone onto the phone, because that's so much better than the Apple Maps app. So I think I'm about as fixed up as I can be on that. So short of trying to figure out, how many heavy clothes to take, Uh, you know, I've been over there, but I mean, you get this time of year, weather's particularly unpredictable. But better be too hot than too cold. So we'll see. I'm going to do some practice packing here on Friday and Saturday. So we'll see on that. So anyway, after Paul was a real asshole, I thought we were going to do some. I thought we were going to do some stuff together. He said, no. And I said, look, you've lived here for over 30. Well, we've been out here since 1982, so he's lived out here for 34 years. And we've never had a lease agreement where he's, formally, he didn't pay me anything. I don't ask him to share expenses. I mean, why should he? He didn't make squat, But there was a certain amount of, how should we say, reciprocal stuff going on for a while, up until, say, maybe, and I'm being generous here, I'll say 1998, but it stopped a long time before. And by that, I don't mean sex. I mean things like, washing the dishes every other time or every third time. Vacuuming the carpet, every now and again. God knows, dusting. I don't think dusting's ever been done here. But just, indicate in some way that you're grateful that you have a fucking rent-free place to stay and eat. Psh, no. So I said to him, when I get back, because I know he's going to take this the same way I've said other sort of little, ultimatum type statements. But he may be wrong on this one. I don't know. We'll see. Because I spent the last part of the afternoon looking on legal sites to see how to do this. I'll just have to go up to my attorney and have him do that. I need to do that anyway when I get back. But no, I don't need him hanging. I mean, if he's not going to do anything or help me out, just to have a warm body in the house, that's come on. When he would help me out a bit, that was fine, but he doesn't do that. Good. Yeah, I know people say, well, maybe it's your fault. Yeah, it might be. I freely admit it might be. But in order to know that, we have to have some sort of discussion about it. And that's just not on the cards with this guy. The guy's a good guy. He's a hard worker. He's a good guy. But at a certain point, what are you going to fucking do? So we'll see. I'll have a few things to do the first couple of 3 days when I get back, but maybe I'll have to go up to the attorneys and, because apparently, in any jurisdiction, there's some formal stuff. I mean, we've never had a lease agreement. There's never been a formal written agreement. It's never been even a verbal agreement. It's like, oh, come on. So, in a way, I suppose you could look at it as like a guest that's overstaying his welcome. So, I mean, I don't know. That's why I need to get advice. But I'm not going to horse with that before I leave. But I told him, I said, look, how many times have I given him a chance? Now we're getting up toward, well, somewhere between 5 and 7. And just, get your act together, by the way, we're up to beer 13. Now, actually, that's actually good by his standards. He only hit 10 at around 12. And that was, that was after he got back from, no, I think he was around 10 before he left for the stores to buy more beer or something. I may be wrong. It may have been like, 8 before he left for the stores to buy more beer. Dear God, don't let him injure somebody else. So on that note, welcome to my life. Wish me a safe trip. God bless us all. Deo volente. Alrighty, bye-bye, YouTubers.